It's been strange because I was the first person that actually told her, something is wrong with you, you're sick, go to a doctor. And we fought for 2 years.
Sharon wasn't caring for Ozzy. She was playing him. That's the ugly truth no one in the Osbourne clan dares to admit. But Aimee Osbourne just broke the silence. You know about Kelly and Jack, right?
I got 200 Hispanic kids, loaded them with eggs. They had peanut butter. They pelted the out of them.
Out of Iron Maiden.
Well, there's a reason you barely hear a whisper about their first child. Aimee was only 16 when she packed her bags and left the family home because she refused to be part of that reality show circus. And even at Ozzy's own funeral, people acted like she didn't exist. All because of Sharon. Now Aimee is straight up claiming Sharon milked Ozzy's failing health in his last years to push moves he never fully agreed with. And she's not talking in riddles. Aimee says she's got receipts. She's warning the public they have no clue who Sharon really is, accusing her of screwing over everyone in Ozzy's circle.
No. Hold on. With war, okay, there are innocent victims on both sides.
If you were from the West Bank and you lost your family, you'd be pissed off.
Of course.
And no random charity gestures, Aimee says, can wash that away. The big question, is this just deep-rooted beef between mother and daughter? Or is Aimee spilling the real tea about Sharon being cold enough to exploit her own husband? With Ozzy gone, the family skeletons are rattling louder than ever. The real shocker? Aimee calling out her own mom for turning Ozzy's mental decline into her personal power trip. Even slipping her own political takes into what looked like Ozzy's words. Fans online are now admitting they finally see it. Sharon was the one pulling the strings, so why now? Aimee says she kept her mouth shut for years. But she's done playing quiet. She claims Sharon used Ozzy's illness to control everything.
Who many people think is a racist, so that makes me a racist. And for me, at 68 years of age, to have to turn around and say, I ain't racist. What's it got to do with me? How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I? What?
We will be right back.
The family, the money, the image. Sure, the world knew Ozzy had Parkinson's disease, but what really went down behind closed doors? Aimee's calling it like she sees it. Sharon wasn't the doting wife the public believed. Behind closed doors, Aimee claims Sharon was gatekeeping who could even visit Ozzy, making odd medical decisions, and keeping the cameras happy while Ozzy was barely holding on. Insiders have been dropping quiet hints about this for years, but nobody dared to point a finger at Sharon.
I have to have a nurse with me now everywhere I go. It's just, I'm burden to my wife, burden to everybody that works for me. I mean, I've never been like this in my life.
Until Aimee stepped in. Her posts have fans and even industry folks wondering if Sharon's been the mastermind all along, using Ozzy's illness as a throne to keep her power. And then came Aimee's cryptic Instagram bomb, a chilling line. Scorn a siren, see what happens. So why is Aimee choosing now? With Ozzy gone, she says she's got nothing to fear. And she's ready to expose what she calls the real sickness in the family.
Close at all. Like we don't have a great relationship. She'll be the first to tell you that, so it's no secret. So I've never asked her outright, like, do you regret it? I think there must be a level of like, hey, what, my life probably would have been different than what it is if I'd have done that.
But right after her post went viral, chaos exploded in the Osbourne household. Sharon stayed quiet in public, but sources claim the private drama was pure fire, and Sharon was allegedly pressuring Kelly and Jack to take public shots at Aimee. Just days before Ozzy's death, Jack popped up on the Disrespectfully podcast, saying Aimee was not really part of the family. He even threw shade over her decision to skip the family reality show when she was just a teenager. Thing is, Aimee never regretted that move for a second.
200 Hispanic kids, loaded them with eggs. They had peanut butter. They pelted the out of them.
Out of Iron Maiden.
Yes. And then I went on stage and I said, look, don't with us. Don't be disrespectful. Don't with us. This is what you get.
How do you
get the off my stage.
I get you. You came up with a plan. You said, "Let's throw eggs at Iron Maiden." Yeah. I like the plan.
I must say at this point, it was nothing whatsoever to do with me. I didn't know it was
you had no idea.
No.
I don't condone that. I think, I said, in actual fact, don't put them on the tour, Sharon, because they are trouble.
In her sit-down with Barbara Walters, she made it clear. My private life to me is very important, so it didn't feel right because my whole life, everything's been so exposed. Aimee says she's finally at a point in her life where she can make her own choices. But back when she was 16, Sharon didn't care that her daughter felt trapped by cameras invading every inch of their home. Instead of protecting her, Sharon let her move out alone, like it was nothing. Sure, the Osbournes have never been low-key, but this feels like a whole different storm. Aimee's now basically painting Sharon as the villain, accusing her of dragging Ozzy through hell just to keep her grip on the throne. And honestly, the way this mess is spilling out is exposing Sharon's playbook in full view. For decades, she's been the face and brains behind the Osbourne empire, running Ozzy's career, the reality shows, and the business side like a fortress. But now the burning question is, was she really looking out for Ozzy, or just shielding her own empire at all costs?
Even like I'm about to be put in the electric chair because I have a friend who many people think is a racist, so that makes me a racist. And for me, at 68 years of age, to have to turn around and say, I ain't racist. What's it got to do with me? Okay? How can I be racist about anybody? How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Well,
what?
We'll be right back.
What?
We have more topics, so don't go away.
Fans are split. Some swear Aimee's finally telling the raw truth after years of watching her dad struggle, while others think it's just a personal feud blowing up in public. But here's where it gets darker. Sharon's history is peppered with moves that scream power player, and not in a good way. Back in Ozzy's early career, insiders like producer Max Norman and Ozzy's old bandmates claimed Sharon would step on toes, snatch credit for other people's work, and cut folks out of money like she owned the whole show. Norman even says Sharon's interference cost bassist Bob Daisley and drummer Lee Kerslake the publishing rights they were owed, and that she was the reason they were pushed out of the band entirely. His words? That's a very weird situation, and they both got shafted pretty badly.
I'll tell you what genocide looks like. You want to go and do a little bit of research about the Second World War. Go to concentration camps, see those pictures. That's starvation. That is genocide. How come none of the men in Palestine look as if they're starving? Have you ever thought that? Why is it only the babies and the women? Because the Palestinians think if they suffer, if they die for their cause, they are going to go and be a martyr and they're going to live in heaven with whatever happens in their heaven. And the Hamas use the women and the children as collateral. It's collateral for them. Make them suffer. Everybody will be on our side.
Norman says it started with quiet questions like, what's going on with the publishing? But the moment Sharon stepped in, the tension exploded. By the time the second record was wrapping, the bassist and drummer still weren't getting a dime from their publishing rights. Then Norman gets the call from Sharon, we want to replace the bass and drums. And this wasn't some one-off shady move. Sharon kept stirring the pot, messing with the band's business, and even sparking beef between Ozzy and other artists. One of the wildest examples, that infamous Iron Maiden incident, where Sharon allegedly paid fans to egg the band. This wasn't a harmless prank. This was Sharon's style. An aggressive, controlling manager who'd whip up chaos just to score PR points, even if it meant embarrassing her own husband's festival. The year was 2005, Ozfest. Some nights, Iron Maiden was pulling way more energy from the crowd than Ozzy, and Sharon took it as a personal threat. To her, they weren't supposed to steal the spotlight from her man, not on his stage. So what did she do? She allegedly stacked the front rows with fans holding cartons of eggs, ready for launch. And she later bragged about it, saying she paid 200 Hispanic kids to make it happen. And the wildest part, Ozzy didn't even know she'd set this up. Iron Maiden kept their cool, with manager Rod Smallwood refusing to waste time, replying directly to Sharon.
He lives in a total different world. I don't know what he does.
Sure, but you've also been in a position to see entertainers, famous people taking advantage of young girls. You've seen it.
Yeah.
So to say that you know nothing about it, I think is an
nothing about
inaccurate.
His case, Mum should say.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it comes down to this: guilty people run.
But he didn't hold back on the verdict, calling the whole stunt disgraceful and saying that in 30 years in the business, he had never seen anything like it. Rod Smallwood said he'd never seen anything so disgusting or unprofessional. And still, Sharon never apologized. Instead, she kept running her mouth, trashing Iron Maiden in interviews, calling frontman Bruce Dickinson an effing a hole, and accusing him of being jealous of Ozzy. The twist? Ozzy himself never said any of that. It was always Sharon speaking for him, stirring beef he never started. And that's the pattern. Sharon making bold, messy statements and dragging Ozzy's name into them. In 2007, she shocked the public by talking about having a suicide pact with Ozzy. Something most would keep private, she blasted out like a tabloid headline. But that's just scratching the surface of the dirt. Many remember when she was kicked off The Talk after serious accusations that she used racist and homophobic slurs against co-hosts Julie Chen and Sarah Gilbert. Insiders claimed it wasn't a slip-up. It was the real Sharon behind the scenes. And of course, there was no genuine apology, just more nasty behavior and gaslighting. So when Aimee accuses Sharon of exploiting Ozzy, it's not coming out of nowhere. It matches a long history of cold, calculated moves. Take this jaw-dropper. Sharon once admitted to forcing her assistant into a burning building to save her artwork during a house fire. And when didn't laugh about it afterward, she fired him. Sharon has a way of twisting her most heartless acts into funny stories. And the worst part? It usually worked. On shows, you'd see people just sit there, chuckling along, instead of calling her out. It's the kind of thing you can only get away with in certain circles. The kind that clap for cruelty and call it class. Sharon clearly has no clue that regular, hardworking people, the kind who can actually picture themselves in that assistant's shoes, would find her funny fire story absolutely horrifying. And honestly, it feels like the older she gets, the colder she becomes. Just days after Ozzy passed, instead of grieving or holding her family close, Sharon was out here making shocking public comments about starving people in the Middle East and genocide. Imagine, your husband's just died, and 2 days later, this is the hill you choose to stand on. But that's pure Sharon, always ready to stir controversy instead of showing compassion. And let's not pretend we forgot her ties to Diddy. She even tried pushing her own daughter Kelly toward him, which, let's be real, raises all kinds of questions. And here's the weirdest twist. When all those allegations about Diddy started flying, Sharon acted clueless, claiming she and Diddy came from two completely different worlds. Really? Then how'd she know so much before? Maybe Aimee Osbourne's just scratching the surface. Because if this is what Sharon's willing to do and say in public, what she's hiding behind closed doors might be darker than anyone's ready to hear. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one.